welcome back. It's time to get up close and personal. And like I told you, it's January. It's a tough month. You're trying to deal with all that's come your way. You're trying to get those resolutions in place. If it's change, this is the time you're trying to effect it. And change is always a good thing. At times, change is for the worse. And you're like, how do I get out of this? How do I bounce back out of what happened? And that's what we're talking about today. Because this particular guest of ours actually had a good bank job. Everything was going well. And then from there, as is the case, you're told, we don't need your services anymore here, young man. Please, this is the door. But from there, it was success upon success upon success. And we talk about that right here on Alfajiri. Derrick Vormawor.
Yes, sir.
Karibu sana.
Asante.
Welcome.
Thank you very much.
And, I always like the fact that when someone is successful, no one ever wants to know the failure, how that happened. Because you are working in a bank, and, banks, once you get into a certain level, it's pretty good.
Yeah.
You come, do your job, work long hours, repeat, the money isn't bad. Did you have a sense that winter is coming, that probably they wanted to fire you before it happened?
The truth is, for me, I think I got to a point in my life where I redefined success. Sometimes we define success by the money, the cars, and all of that. But for me, success is when purpose is achieved. Why was I brought here on earth? And at that moment before I got fired, I had a feeling. I knew somehow I felt maybe the end was coming. So I remember I sent a text to a friend. I was emotional just, I think, a day to the incident that happened. And I told my friend, whatever happens to me, don't leave my side. And the next day, I had an issue at the bank. I helped out a customer, and somebody made it look like I had something to do with a fraudulent transaction. Nobody heard me out up to date. Nobody asked anybody in my branch what happened, and I was fired. But I think it was, I always thank them for firing me. If they had not fired me, I wouldn't have found who I really was, because I was more than just a cubicle in the bank.
True. And let's talk about that also for a while, because what you did is once you felt this sense that there's something coming and it's not good, you spoke to your friend. You SMS'd your friend and told him, whatever happens, or told her, whatever happens, be there. And what usually happens is, when such things happen, you hope your friends will be there, but usually they leave. Did your friend stay the course?
Yes, so it happened that after what happened, just the next day, I woke up in the morning, I was happy going to work, and that thing happened. At the end of the day, I found myself in the police station. And it was that friend that came to bail me out. Do you understand? And afterwards, I was unfairly fired, and then I was broken. I lost almost everything that I worked for. I helped out a few people that left with my money and all of that, so I was back to zero. Yes, so I was broken. And in that point, when I was broken, I remember that I said a prayer to God, and I was like, God, I know I'm broken. I know I have nothing right now, but whatever great thing you're going to do in my generation, don't do it without me. And ever since, I found who I was.
And your faith in God, was it there all through, or did you find it during this particular trying time? You're at a police station, you're in a cell for a fraudulent transaction that you didn't do. Is that where you decided to turn to God?
So sometimes things happen in life. You may be on a certain path. You think you are all good to go, and you don't need God. You're good. You're strong. So when that thing happened, that's when I really realized that I needed God more than I ever thought. You understand? And turning to God, helped me, because it gave me that strength. It taught me how to have faith and actually live faith. And yeah.
Okay.
That's how it was.
Okay, so you're in the police cell, you know that you don't have a job, that you probably have to pay this. What are you thinking about that time? What are you thinking is the way forward? What was your plan when you were in the cell?
I didn't know what to do, because I was very emotional. I was broken, and I remember I wake up in the morning and I'm just crying. I was young. I got my first bank job at age 19, and then I moved to another bank at age 20, and that was when the issue happened. And this moment, I was between 20 and 21. I was young, and I was actually taking care of myself through school. What I worked for, I was working during the daytime. I was pursuing my degree in the evening, at the evening school in the university. So I was helping myself. So it was very tough for me. And thinking about that moment really gets me emotional most times, because when I look back how it started and how everything went and what is happening today, I just can't believe that I could have made it through,
And because a lot has happened since then.
Yeah.
Have you ever gotten a chance to have you ever bumped into the bank manager who fired you? Or, the people who actually made that happen? Have you ever met them since that particular interaction?
A few weeks ago in Ghana, I went to my former branch, And this particular guy that made it look like, yeah, I had something to do with that transaction, was there. He couldn't even look at my face, you know. But I think one thing I did was, before I set out on a new journey, I forgave everybody that offended me. I forgave them. And that gave me the power to move on from what happened. You know?
And how about family? When all of this was happening, do you have any brothers or sisters, the folks? Did you tell them? Did you hide all this from them until you figured out what you're going to do next?
So I think during that point in time, my parents were not so well. They were, both of them were not so strong. They were ill. So when the thing got to the peak, I spoke to them about it, and you know, my mom was emotional, my dad was emotional, but I think they were there for me. I have this friend called Derrick in Ghana that was also very much available for me. He helped me up during those slow moments. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So that happens. You don't have a job. You've had to tell your parents that I was fired because, well, money got lost. It wasn't me, but these things happen. What was your next course of action? Because most people think, okay, fine, I don't have a job, then we go look for another job. What did you think now you'd do to move forward? Because rent needs to be paid.
Yeah, so I was thinking about something. I was like, I have two options. Either I become a victor over this, or I will spend the rest of my life telling everybody that cares to listen what happened in the bank. And for how long would they be willing to listen to me that I got fired? And so, am I the only one that got fired in the world? No. So I had to do something for myself. And then I decided to start something, that I had passion for. I started out as an investment consultant. I had nothing, and then it wasn't bringing anything in. So I wanted to start a business consulting firm because I identified a need. And when I started, I had nothing. So I asked a friend to borrow, to lend me his laptop to start with. Wow. So that's what I had.
Okay.
Yes.
And the biggest question is, with business and with people in general, credibility, character is such a big issue. And you're thinking of starting a business, but most people know the Derrick who was in a bank fraudulent transaction. How did you deal with that?
So first of all, I think it was what I had to offer, and then the reason why I started what I started. I made people understand the need for what I was doing. I was tired of hearing businesses and reading about businesses that are failing in Africa, and I realized some of the things that we were doing wrong. But some way, somehow, the strategies for business just comes to me natural. It just, because I remember when I was in the bank, I had ideas for products that the bank could have, but nobody really gave me the opportunity. I had that concept, that creativity, that strategy that could help us propel us to the next level, but I was a nobody in the bank, so nobody could really hear me out. So getting out of the bank and now focusing on businesses, I could just leave these strategies for them, and that was a need. They needed that, you know. So there were times. I never faced the credibility issue because I think one thing with consulting is that people will not come to you because you have great products, or even in business, people will not come to you because you are great at what you do. It's because they can trust you, because everybody's looking for somebody to trust. So the only issue I had was people thinking I'm too young, probably I'm incompetent, because I remember some time ago I took a trip to the northern part of Ghana. I sat in the bus for about 14 hours just to go pitch to clients. And some of them wanted to really work with me, but they were quite skeptical, like, is this guy really good? Can he really deliver? That was a challenge, one of the challenges that I had, you know. So what happened, I actually threw it behind me. I attended this conference called the Future of Ghana Young Leaders Forum, and I caught a fire there. And ever since, I said never to let that leave me, you know. So I stood on that ground, and I started what I started. And one thing I told myself was, I'm defined by what I define myself to be. And I see myself by what God thinks about me. You know, I'm peculiar, I'm different. I cannot be like everybody. Yes, I'm young, but not every young person in Africa is incompetent. You understand? The fact that we are young doesn't mean we cannot deliver. We are not too young to do great things. If you look in the Bible, how old was Jesus when he started doing amazing things? How old was David? How old was Joseph and the rest? You know, so I wasn't too young to do that. So that's what I told myself. And I just did what I did. And with people wanting to work with me or not, I understood that it's a business. It's a new business. People need time to get used to me. People need time to understand me. So I was very patient. And that's one of the things that has been able to keep me up to date. Patience and consistency. You don't get out of the thing because people are not responding to you. It's like a relationship. People need to get to know you better to trust you.
True. Okay. Yeah. So at that point, you've gone. Your good friend has given you a laptop. What was your plan? Straight from a bank, you don't have that many, in terms of your network, it's not that vast. You don't have that much capital, in fact, no capital at all. So what is the plan to move forward with the laptop?
But I just started. You know, I started by putting on Facebook, hi, I'm doing this, I'm that. I draw business plans, so I had a few people contact me. Initially, people thought it was a joke, you know, like, and it hurt so much. People were discouraging me, go get yourself a job or something, you understand? But I think it was more of purpose. I feel like I'm made for this. This is something I do without thinking twice. This is something that comes to me natural. So I respected the call. I got the thing that my purpose was lifting others up. You understand? Because I have a way of talking to people that are down and they're able to, you know, have a lifted spirit. So lifting others up, lifting businesses up, and that was my purpose. And I think it's my paying attention to my purpose actually has been able to keep me and brought me this far. You understand? Yeah, so it's purpose thing. It's more of purpose because what I do, I didn't study for it. Yes, I graduated from school last year in August with a banking and finance degree, but what I do comes to me natural. Natural. Okay. I don't need to learn too much. I just have to get my strategies together and then I get the solutions for clients. Okay. Yeah.
And you know, most people would think that after losing a job, because of the pressures in terms of cost of living, that you need to eat, you need to pay rent, what naturally is you go and look for another job. Yeah. Because with business, you don't go and do your first pitch and seal the deal and are paid. So why didn't you think of going to look for a job, not even in the banking sector, could have gone and done oil or something else, totally different, but why didn't you go and look for another employer to give your services?
Now, let me tell you the truth. For a year and a half, when I started this company, I wasn't making money. Some way, somehow, I don't know how I was able to survive, but some way, somehow, I was able to survive. You understand? And that brought me to, I recently released a book I call Testing the Paint, which I wrote myself. And I released it online as an ebook. And it's subtitled Growing into the Role of the CEO. Because I redefined who the CEO is. Sometimes we think it's a flashy title, it's nice. And here's the thing. We make entrepreneurship in Africa look, some people make it look really beautiful, easy, you know, with nice pictures, traveling here and there on social media. You feel like, yeah, they're doing great stuff. But it's harder than we think, you know, it's tough. And that taught me some principles that I applied. One, principle of purpose. Why are you doing this? Because if you know the reason why you're starting, it will keep you. It would keep you to be patient and consistent. Now, the principle of patience, that you wouldn't make, like you said, you wouldn't close your first deal by patient for it. And for me, I shared in my book that the contracts that I bid for, that I didn't get, actually prepared me for the contracts that I didn't even bid for, that I got. Because going through that process of a state of nothingness into a state of somethingness is a priceless experience. And that makes you a resilient businessman or woman. You understand? So, I mean, I wasn't making money in the beginning, but I just had to just sacrifice for this. This is what I wanted. Now, the question is, what do you really want? You understand? Sometimes we don't really know what we really want. What do you really want? Are you ready for it? I knew what I wanted, and I was ready for it. I was ready to go through the hurdles. I was ready to go through every single process to become a better person.
And Derrick, at no point did you feel like, hey, man, it's 8 months into this. I haven't gotten any money. I should probably just go and brush up my CV and go and look for a job. You never felt that at any point?
I did. There were times that I wake up in the morning and the first thing is I'm crying. I'm like, I'm tired. And then I send a friend a text, I'm tired. And you'll be like, people are looking up to you, you're doing well. Money is not everything, you understand? I think the best investment is in people, you know, and that's what I've taken very serious in my journey. I started sharing my journey right when I started it. So, I mean, I got a chance to speak at places. And there were times that I went through tough times. I worked with some people that didn't really buy into my vision. They made me look like a bad person. People promised to destroy my company. Imagine you wake up in the morning and you'd have to go speak somewhere to inspire someone. And you're waking up to a threat message from somebody that is threatening to destroy you. They seem to know your every move. But I have to go to inspire someone. It was tough. I mean, at times, you make some little money and there's school bills to settle. I mean, there's family issues to settle. And this is a young guy. I could have just gone out somewhere, get a club and have fun and stuff. But I had to sacrifice. It was really painful, you know. And there were times, yes, I felt like going out there, take my CV places and all of that. But I was like, why did I start this journey? You know, what am I going to leave here? Because I feel like there's a charge on my life to build something for Africa before I die. And that is just what I'm doing with my life right now.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So you went, you pitched a couple of businesses. And With most people, once you're going to offer a particular service, they'll always ask about experience.
Yeah.
And that's an issue many young people have. Because you have the passion, you have the ideas, and probably they even like your idea, and then they ask, but have you done this before? And if you're honest and say no, that's the end of your pitch.
Exactly.
How did you deal with that?
So initially, I had to do a lot of free jobs, okay, just to build a portfolio. So my company does business plan development. We develop proposals, market research, corporate training, and the likes. So I had to do a few free jobs just to build a portfolio, because most of the clients were startups. They didn't have money to pay me, you know. But those were the people that actually were filled up in my portfolio. So having a portfolio really helped me to, you know, acquire some new clients. And I think one thing I did was to grow with technology, because I realized that technology is playing a huge part in our lives right now. So there is a need for us to grow with technology. So I started advertising online, and that brought some people on board as well. We did one work, you know, and yesterday I held my first event in Kenya, the Business Startup Clinic, which we hold in Ghana. We've held 2 editions in Ghana, and we did the first one in Kenya yesterday, and it was amazing. This is like the best event we've done so far. And one thing I shared with them was, I'm passionate about people. People make everything happen. You understand? Be good with people. So when we get the calls, I mean, for jobs, we treat them well. And I remember one client came on board. We developed a business plan for him. They were in the US, and they needed about $2 million funding to expand their business operations in Ghana. And what we did for them was really good. So the investors decided to put in $4 million. And now they were like, wow, you guys are really good. Then things started changing from there. You know, so referrals, now people are hearing about us, invited to speak here and there, and it started changing things. So we had to do a few free jobs in the beginning, you know, just to build a portfolio. And so I think this whole thing is a lot of patience. And sometimes we young people are in a rush. You want to start a business today and make $1 million tomorrow. 2018, my year of making money. So tomorrow I got to make money. You understand? You have to be patient and consistent. Sometimes if you're consistent, the more you do it, it makes sense. Even when the thing doesn't really make sense in the beginning, the more you do it, it makes sense to you because you get used to it. And the people can also get used to you as well. Understand? So that's how it was.
Okay. And when you think about the first successful pitch that you did, the one that gave you your first paycheck, because no one ever forgets that.
Yeah.
The others come and go, you know, but that first one, tell us about that. How was it?
Okay, so that first one was a call I got. I got a call from a potential client. And he was Zimbabwean. He was in Ghana. So we met up, and then I pitched, I mean, what we can do. So I showed him one of the jobs we've done, which was a free job, and it was that good. So I mean, they liked it, and they wanted a business plan for. They are a fish farm operating in Ghana. They export fish to the US. Yeah. So we had to develop a business plan for them. So I gave my pitch. It was accepted. I gave my invoice. It was accepted. They paid 50%. Yeah, and that was when things started to change. You know,
that you realize you can actually now make money properly through this.
Exactly. So now it helped me realize the value on my life, my time, the company, and we started to build, I mean, a new team. So I opened up a volunteer program for my company because I wanted good people to come on board. And we had volunteers come on board, and they've been working so well. The team is strong in Ghana. We are gradually taking shape, you know, and now we are here in Kenya. And we started an event for startups to help startups to have access to information, not just startups, but even existing businesses. Yesterday's event was amazing, and we had people from different industries come on board. I mean, they attended the event, and networking was there. I mean, information was given, things that you wouldn't get anywhere. That is what the event is doing. So things people are not talking about. It's more than a slide presentation. And so we started to create revenue streams for the company now through events, through what we do, and all of that. And yeah, it's been working.
Okay, and let's talk about the startup clinic, because by virtue of the title, I'd feel like if I have a business and we're a startup and we need help, this is where we go to. So how exactly does it work? How has it happened in Ghana? How did it happen yesterday right here in Nairobi?
Yeah. So in Ghana, it started in July. I was like, we need to put up an event to give startups access to information. Because I had people calling, and they were like, we need that and that and that. We need this information. We want to meet you. I'm like, okay, cool. Let me just have an event to put all of them together and share with them that strategy. So I did the first event in Ghana in July. It went well. I brought on board speakers to speak. And what we did was, I told my speakers we are not going to do slide presentations. It's not strictly like theoretical. It should be very practical, realistic strategies. You understand? So the first edition touched on corporate branding and how to sell your business with photography. So I featured one branding guy and then one top-notch photographer in Ghana to come and share their strategies. Second edition was in August. We shared practical sales and marketing tips, and then also how to leverage on public relations to become profitable. So things people are not really thinking about. I featured speakers to speak on that. And then we decided to come to Kenya. I mean, it was like a charge on my heart that we need to get this done in Kenya. We need to expand, reach more people. It's not about the numbers, it's not about the people, it's not about me. It's more about businesses to survive in Ghana. Because according to statistics, over 90% of startups or businesses that get registered within a year collapse. And most of them, aside funding, you know, the thing is, even if you are not resourceful, and I give you $1 million, you blow it up. You won't be able to use it. You won't be able to sustain with it. You understand? And it's not about starting a business. It's about building a sustainable business model that will keep you relevant even 10 years from now. So the question is, whatever you're starting, you ask yourself, 5 years from now, will it still make sense? Do you understand? Things are happening. Things are changing. How are you going to change with it? How are you going to move with the flow? You know, so that these are things that influence us to start a clinic. And yesterday, we touched on how to grow your business with technology, and then also how to build, manage, and grow your clientele. And then luckily, when I got here, we got a call from one of Kenya's strongest law firms, Oseko and Oma partners, and they were on board to touch on legal matters. Now we are partnering to do a lot of things for startups and businesses in Africa in terms of legal issues. You know, so yesterday was very, very, very insightful, and obviously networking. You know, and it was great. It was a great time. And we are having the next one in May, where we are covering growth and expansion, business growth and expansion.
Okay, and that happens right here in Nairobi.
Here in Nairobi.
Okay,
yeah. And
since you've practiced business both in Accra, you've been in Nairobi.
Yeah.
Are they similar business spaces for an entrepreneur?
So I was sharing with my friend yesterday. I'm really excited I came, you know, because I've learned so much in this environment. Nairobi is, I think, it's underrated. Trust me, Nairobi is underrated because I think the business environment here is very strong. As you know, Ghana has its strong sides, Nairobi has its strong sides. And coming from a business consultant point of view, I've been able to weigh the various strategies that you could apply over there and here. I mean, there are some businesses that if you're going to go into here, it will be good, and some it wouldn't be good, and some it will be good in Ghana, some it wouldn't be good in Ghana. You understand? Because when I came here, one of the things I realized was that shea butter and black soap is very expensive here. It's in demand, and we don't use it for anything in Ghana. It's nothing, like nobody cares about it in Ghana. You know, so that's one of the opportunities. I realized a change in the transport system here. It's quite more advanced than in Ghana. You know, so it helps me and even my business instincts as well to help advise clients, you know, because I've also I've had a chance to go to Dubai as well for business, and it's helped me. It's, you know, the more you travel, the more you become rich as a person, the more you meet people, the more your business mindset grows. You understand? So it's been very interesting. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And not only are you a business consultant and a strategist, you're also an author.
Yes.
You talked about the book Testing the Paint.
Yes. Testing
and
the
you know,
Paint.
growing into the role of the CEO.
Yes.
Is that something that you can learn from a book, or do you have to actually taste the pudding to know how it is to be a CEO?
So I think it's a must read for every startup entrepreneur, or even every entrepreneur. Because in the book, this is what I did. I redefined who the CEO is. Normally, the CEO is defined as the one appointed by the board of directors, heading the company, is a nice title, has a car, and all of that. No. But I'm talking about the fact that Africa needs, you know, fine, the entrepreneurship thing is going well in Africa, but we need true entrepreneurs. We need entrepreneurs solving problems. We are tired of the social media entrepreneurs with the titles. I'm an entrepreneur, I'm a serial entrepreneur, and then you don't really know what they're doing. You know, we need entrepreneurs that would go out there and solve problems. You know, just pick your bag, walk in the hot sun, walk in the cold, and go get the deals. Go pitch what you have to offer. Solve the problems. Build the business. You know, I'm very passionate about business in Africa because I feel like if you know you're not going to be able to manage it and make it better and bigger, don't start it. We are tired of having businesses start and failing. And that's one thing that I feel is a charge on my life to solve in Africa. You understand? So yes, in the book I touched on principles that I have applied, and I've known people that have applied that is working for them, like principle of patience, consistency, profitability, sustainability, and growth. One thing that sometimes we fail to understand as young entrepreneurs in Africa, or even entrepreneurs in Africa in general, is we are free to grow, expand. You know, I always tell people that if Mark Zuckerberg was African, we may have pulled him down. You understand? But we think it's fine because of where it's coming from. So what is wrong with we being African and building amazing stuff, building amazing products? One thing I love about Kenya is that I'm here in Kenya and I go to the supermarket and almost everything I buy is made here. And I love it. As compared to Ghana, most of the things are imported into the country. You understand? So we need to use our own stuff. We need to make things happen for ourselves. We need to build business that will last for a lifetime. And that is one thing, some of the things that I shared in the book. And I also shared things about what people don't say about entrepreneurship. You know, and yesterday, one thing I made us do at the event was I made us make a commitment that whatever it is that you're going to go through, business is very dicey. You know, it's not a fun fair. That's the truth. It can be very tough. But whatever it is, just push through, pull through. Realize the need that you are solving, the need. Why are you here? That's the question. Because if you are entering into a business because it's profitable, then I'm sorry to tell you, it may not work for you because it won't always be profitable. But if you have a need, if you know that, okay, people need me, and the more needful you become, the more relevant you become. And the more relevant you become, the more impactful you become. Then you can start making some good money. And I think the best money, the best kind of money is people, word of mouth, what people say about you. That at a point in time, even your kids will walk into a place and when they mention their name with your surname, they are done favors just because of what you did and who you are. You know. Okay. So that is some of the things I shared in the book. Yeah, and so far it's been great. It's an ebook online and people are been reading, people are buying, people are reading, and like the feedback has been great. Okay. Great. Impacting lives.
And you've talked about various principles and various things you need to look at even as a CEO, and things that you need to focus on, you know, patience, profit, sustainability. For you, as even we wind up, what do you think is the biggest principle for an entrepreneur? You're ready for 2018 to be the year you're going to make the money. You know, you want to go out and do your thing. What is that key principle you think every entrepreneur should focus on?
Trust the process. Trust the process. You wouldn't be able to get there because you started. But it's learning through the process. The good times, the bad times, the high days, the low days. Trust the process. If you cannot trust what you are embarking on, the journey, entrepreneurship is a journey, a lifelong one. You know, it's a journey. If you cannot trust that journey, then you cannot really get to the end of it. Trust the process, trust God. You know, believe in yourself. Because if you cannot believe in what you have to offer, nobody will believe in you. And 3 things I always say you should be good in. Be good with people. People make everything happen. It's sad our world is changing. You go to a public place and everybody's on their phone. And we are losing touch with ourselves. But sometimes the solution to your problem is seated right beside you. And sometimes you don't need to go on your knees to pray. You need to just have someone make a phone call to solve a problem for you. Be good with people. Be good with strategies. Think. Take time to think through your business. Every day, have time and spend time with your business thinking through. And be good with your figures. You understand? So these 3 things, I think, would help every young entrepreneur to get somewhere better. And to realize that it's not about just the money. And like I said, success is when purpose is achieved. So what is your purpose? Why were you made to come here on earth? That's a question we need to answer.
Find your purpose. Trust the process. And remember, it's people, strategies,
figures.
And your figures. You have those in order. 2018 could very well be that year.
Hopefully.
Thank you so much, Mr. Derrick.
Thank you very much for having me.
Who would have thought from being sacked from a banking job,
you know,
be in another country expanding your business?
Wow. It's amazing. I mean, God makes things happen.
Absolutely, man. Thank you so much for making time and sharing your story right here on Alfajiri.
Thank you very much for having me.
Okay.
Thank you.
We take a short break at this point. On the other side of that inspiring tip, you know what happens right here on Alfajiri. We get inspired to gossip. It's coming up. It's called Interactive right here. Don't go too far.